Deepika's character is constantly trying to run away from what her mother went through. I should have prepared the audience more for that kind of an ending. So right now, again, I'm writing Ek Mein aur Ek Two. Everyone understands that TV serials again that you can have fun with. So I think it's okay.
Shakun Batra, welcome to CNN News 80.
Lovely to be here, Vishal. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Shakun, we are celebrating the second anniversary of your film Gehraiyaan that was released on February 11th, 2022. It features some of the very popular and successful actors like Deepika Padukone, Nasuddin Shah in a significant role, and Ananya Panday, Siddhant Chaturvedi, and the newcomer Karwa. How do you relate to Gehraiyaan after having lived with the film and its character for a long time?
Well, it's not that I'm thinking about it every day. I think after a movie releases, it finds its own life and you continue then with your life. I've moved on with other ideas and thoughts. But of course, every now and then I think back of the journey we had. It was a really, really fun time for all of us. We shot all of this during COVID. And I do go back to maybe sometimes, not for a very long time, but sometimes like, oh, I wish I had done that scene differently. If I had done this differently, it would be like this. But no, it's not an active part of my day-to-day life right now.
So then which scenes you think you would have done differently, given a choice?
Oh, it's not a scene. I think it's how the film unfolds for the audience. I think one thing when the film came out, which everyone kind of spoke a lot about, was when it suddenly turned into like a slightly more thriller-esque film in the
Yes.
end.
Yes.
And I always wondered if I should have prepared the audience more for that kind of an ending. Should the marketing have been, slightly different on preparing the audience? But those were thoughts obviously I had last year. I mean, now this year my attention's entirely into developing something new and a newer idea. But yeah, at that time, that's where my mind was.
Although the film touched many themes from lust at first sight, infidelity, everyone is in a relationship where couples live together, then getting married. Then there's a tension between family members. What was the trigger point for you? What was it that you wanted to say with Gehraiyaan?
You know, uh, the thing that I was really trying to say in Gehraiyaan was a couple of things. One was generational trauma, right? I think how that kind of travels from your parents to you, how that continues with our lives. And I think the second thing that I was trying to figure out is how the more you try to run away from something, I mean, Deepika's character is constantly trying to run away from what her mother went through. uh, if you try to run away from something without addressing it, especially trauma, then it kind of comes back in your life in some way. So I think that's like really like a more like a thematic idea that I had. But at the same time, I was very interested in dealing with infidelity because I think that is something we don't show in our movies often, even though I feel like all of us, in some way, close or away from us, have seen or known of an infidelity in someone's life. But I feel in film, the love always becomes too pure and clean, and I was like, oh, but there is also this. Like, why don't we ever showcase this side of relationships? So I was interested in kind of exploring that. So those are the couple of things that I thought I was trying to marry.
You spoke about the theme. Then which was the thematic scene of the film in which we know that director ये कहने की कोशिश कर रहा है या film, this is the message that film is carrying.
The scene with Nasiruddin Shah is when they both sit down and she says, do I even have a choice? And because she's not sure if she can choose to go away from this, right? She said, उस एक चीज से मैं दूर भागती रही, and that's exactly what happened to me. And Deepika says that in the Nasiruddin Shah scene when in the end.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I have any choice anymore. And he says, well, only time will tell if you have a choice or not. And then in the end, I think Ananya tells Deepika, can we break away? Can we break away from our past? And I think those were little hints to the theme. They are all trying to break away from their past, right? Consciously, subconsciously, they're all trying to go away from their trauma, but they're finding themselves back in the same cycle. So I think those were the ideas, and as I said, some came through, some didn't, but that's part of it.
So then you mean Deepika character was no different from what Siddhant Shah was, or Mother, right?
You know, I don't think it's about characters being no different. I think the idea is that all of us are trying to run away from a version of ourselves. All of us are trying to run away from a trauma that we've seen either our parents, a generation before us, or something that we faced. And what I'm trying to say is that it's unless you address that trauma, it's very likely that it'll come in some form of fate. Uh, and also I think there's some people who thought that it's I'm talking about karma, and if you have an affair, you're gonna get caught and all of that. Sure, I think different people should take different things from the film. I think all those elements are there, and everyone should be free to kind of see the story their way. That's what always made great stories, right? You connect with the story because of who you are, not because of who the filmmaker is. So I think if you make an honest enough story with enough things, elements in it that resonates with different people, then different people can connect with it differently, and that's really a beauty of a good film. At least that's what we all should aim for, and then what happens happens.
While Tia and Alicia are these hipsters having this hobby slash professions like pottery classes and yoga, building software app, and while Dhairya Karwa, who's a writer waiting for his novel to get published, do you think the film would have got a different dimension in the end if Dhairya Karwa's character had a different profession, like maybe an actor or a filmmaker?
I mean, I never thought of it honestly. I'm sure. I think all these things always change things. How the movie comes about. I always connect with writer characters because I'm always in that mode. I'm always connecting the writing like a writer. Filmmaker, then it just becomes a very active. Like you have to see a movie set and all of that. I wasn't sure, and I feel like I've always found myself making a film about a filmmaker bit too odd. I think I don't know. I'm just more comfortable with writing as a profession. Also, writing as a profession doesn't need any production. You don't have to show a movie set. You don't have to show actors. You don't need 100 extras on a movie set. I think it's budget friendly to make your character an actor, a writer. So I think that's a suggestion to all the, I guess, writers out there. Just write more writers because very budget friendly. You just have to show them with a book and pen
Yeah, and a laptop.
and a laptop. Yes.
Then Woody Allen's Hannah and her sister had a big impact on you. It's a film that changed your life. Was Gehraiyaan a sort of a tribute to Woody Allen's world? Because even in Gehraiyaan, Deepika Padukone and Ananya Pandey's character were sisters.
Yes. I think Woody Allen's movies, uh, because I grew up watching them when I was very young, I was still understanding what writing, what filmmaking was all about. I think they've somewhere in my uh, filmmaking DNA, they're a part of it. I think consciously, subconsciously, they'll always come through in some way. Whether I think a lot of people made direct reference to Match Point, and of course, there are certain similarities on Match Point. But I think in Match Point, it's all about luck.
Yeah.
The whole film is based on, does luck play an important role? And I think I was looking at infidelity from a very different point, which was like, as I said, generational trauma and fate and destiny and all of that. So so yeah, a little difference there, but yeah, I think I can't ever I don't think I think a lot of writing because of some of the filmmakers I've loved. Hal Ashby is one of them, Woody Allen's one of them, Billy Wilder is one of them. These are filmmakers that are constantly part of my growing up, my learning. So they end up showing up in my work in some way.
Then why was it important for you to keep the tension alive even after Siddhant's character death? Like he dies.
I mean, yes, I think it's a personal choice. It's great either way. I love movies that resolve themselves, and I also love movies that leave you hanging. I think when I was writing, Gehraiyaan, I wanted to leave people at a cliffhanger. I wanted to people to be a little more unsettled. I wanted them to be unsure of where were they left in a story. So I think those were just feelings that I had when I was writing it. It was my intention to kind of take an audience to a place and then drop them in the middle of nowhere. Does it always work? I don't know. It maybe harm some of the reactions, audience reactions, but it wasn't. As I said, for me, the intention as a filmmaker was to take an audience and drop them with a little bit of a surprise.
Then staying with the cliffhangers, for me, one of the finest endings that we saw in a rom-com was in the recent time was of your film Ek Main Aur Ek Tu. I mean, that ending and then the ending of Kapoor and Sons, where the whole family come together and click the photo, the family photo. How do you see these stories with this open ending and where the life goes as normal?
I don't know. It's listen. It's not conscious, but obviously, I think the what's conscious is that when you're writing a story, and currently I'm writing one, endings are the most important, right? And you spend a lot of time thinking about endings, even in Kapoor and Sons and in Ek Main Ek Tu. I think the ending came to us in the third draft. So I had already lived with the story for 5 or 6 months before I found the right ending. We had a placeholder alternative ending before. So I think endings are the most important because that's what audiences will leave the hall with. So I do contemplate what's the right place to take the audience and leave them with it. And it's I don't know why we choose the it's something that connects with you and you feel like this is the right place to take the audience to for an experience, right? It's like you take them on a ride, and where the ride stops and how the ride stops matters. So yeah, you think about it, and sometimes you just feel your gut tells you it's in the right place, and it feels like you've communicated something, and at the same time you've given them a feeling, and at the same time you've made them think. And I think if you can put these two, three things together, it feels like a good ending.
As the reports of Imran Khan making a comeback, do you think we can expect a part two of Ek Main Aur Ek Tu by Shakun Batra?
Ek mein aur ek two.
Yeah, Ek Main
Uh,
Ek Tu is yeah, cool. Yeah,
yes.
is there a hope?
I don't know. I've never thought of it. I don't know where those characters are right now. I've never thought about that. But yeah, I'm very excited for Imran coming back. I think everyone's keen to see him back, so that'll be great.
In all your three films, the character, the protagonist, don't share or have a normal equation with his father. What is the
Ask my
reason?
dad.
Why is that?
I feel sure, fair enough. I've never, again, not conscious, not something that I'm thinking about. I feel like all of us have some, not all of us is a very big word, not all of us, but I think we all have certain unsaid things with our parents, certain things that we hold against them, certain things that they could never tell us. And I think a father son and father child relationship is always, it's always a bit, at least in Indian, in an Indian context, we most of us fail to become friends with our parents. So the relationship has unsaid things, has unresolved things, and I feel like they make for a really great story because they also inform the audience of who we are as people. Our relationship with our parents also tells us about who we are, what we hold against them, what do we feel hurt about. And I think those things define a character well. So I think maybe it's an easy crutch as a writer to create a rift between a parent and a child. And yeah, I mean, I grew up with a bit of an odd relationship, and in terms of communication with my father, so maybe it's a little bit of that.
Why you don't repeat your actors? I mean, the first film it was Karina, then it was Chintu ji, and then you worked with Deepika.
अभी 3 तो पिक्चरें बनाई हैं अभी मैं अभी इतना कुछ आई मीन आई होप आई डू इनफ एंड आई होप आई वर्क गेट टू वर्क विद ऑल ऑफ देम अगेन but I feel like I really wish I could make faster films faster, and I want to, but I think it's always myself surprised with how much time I take to come with something that I'm excited to make. So right now, again, I'm writing something. Let's hope I find it, I finish it soon.
Reportedly, a lot of actors, not a lot, few of your actors complained that, Shakun takes a lot of takes. He take multiple takes, but Chintuji was very happy when he saw the film, and she said how many takes I have to give. There was a report where Deepika Padukone wasn't happy while shooting Gehraiyaan, that, why do you need so many takes? What do you like to say about it?
I don't know. I'd try better. But the thing is, see, you have 12 hours on a movie set. That's what you get in a day, right? Uh, and David Fincher said this, and I completely follow him on that. You pay for a location, you pay for an entire crew, you pay for equipment, you pay for actors, you pay for so many things on a day. It's like lakhs and lakhs of rupees being spent. So the least you want to do is get as many takes in your can as you can, because then you don't want to go find yourself in the edit and be like, oh, I don't know if I have a good enough take of that, or I don't know if I covered it right. uh, and I'm somebody who kind of finding the movie on the set, so I'm not always 500% sure of this is exactly what I use and then this is what I use. I feel like I'm finding the film, and I'm the first audience of my film when I'm sitting on set. So as I'm watching it, I'm getting more ideas about what can be different, where it can go. So then I want to experiment with that. And I think with Deepika, I was lucky because I think she's also worked with the great Mr. Bansali, who's also got the reputation of taking a lot of takes. So Deepika, yes, we are friends, so she made fun of all these things, but I think we were happy. She would laugh at me, but she and I always got along, and she herself is a perfectionist, so she'll continue till the time she's not happy. So I think we had a good time by the end of it.
Sure. Now having made an rom-com, a family drama, a love story, can we expect now a comedy next by Shakun Batra?
Yeah, I hope so. I love comedies. I love funny things. And I think the time feels right when there's so much action and thriller that I feel it'd be nice to do a comedy. I'd love to do a comedy. And yeah, just keeping my fingers crossed. Let's see where it goes.
Talking about comedy, you also make a lot of art films. I really like the one for Lenskart in which Karan Johar says, South Indian superstar look. It's the Pan India. What triggered that idea? Which sort of looks like you're taking a dig at the movie stars from South, who are often called as this Pan India stars.
No, no, no. So there's no dig at South Indian. If at all, there is reverence to, they've created a language that we now all look forward to. In fact, I think sometimes we abuse that language. I think the great South Indian filmmakers and the stars have created their language of how to introduce a star, which over time I think now people have started to just copy and Xerox that. So I think we were just trying to show how like people you can just turn that around, right? But the writing is obviously not done by me. There's an agency involved called Moonshot, and they have a team of four brilliant writers: Tanmay Devaya, Puneet, and a couple of other guys. And so I got the script. I thought it was funny, and I love doing ads because I think it gives you try to kind of go on set and play. It's like if you're a cricketer and you have net practice or you have an 2020 match, it's a quick version of the same thing, so you can go have fun. And ads always are can be a lot of fun if it's a fun script, good people. So yeah, I had a great time.
Also, I saw a post of yours yesterday in which you sort of supported Ranveer Ranveer Singh's
Bold
ad
care.
promoting sexual health. What would you like to say about this whole controversy?
I don't know what controversy. I'm in some la la land. I have no clue what you're talking about. What
One of the
controversy is
actors
this?
said, he's making fun of TV stars and because it showed that Saas Bahu serial in bad light. What do you like to say about this whole controversy? And
Again, I think it's I think there has to be, you'll always make, humor is always at a cost of something. I hopefully you always hope you don't hurt sentiments, but humor at it's always like most of the time humor is kind of mocking something, right? And I don't think they mean that, oh, TV serials are bad. I think it's everyone understands that TV serials again, are known for a certain kind of grammar and language, and that can be in had be had that you can have fun with. So I think it's okay. I don't think honestly I don't take something like this so seriously. I think there are much bigger problems going on to deal with and solve in this world. So terribly sorry if somebody felt that they were made fun of, but it's a little joke. People laugh, they laugh and they forget about it. But yeah, you're right. I hope that uh, I wouldn't want to put anyone down at the cost of making an ad, but that feels like maybe a bit I don't know, to taking something too seriously.
Do you pay extra attention to the research material, to the facts, what is being displayed, even if it's came from agency? Do you check as a maker?
I think I now do have a policy of not doing certain kind of products, and and we I think now, and I don't do that many ads. I do like 3 ads a year or 4 ads a year. So we try to at least make sure that we are aligned with the services or the product that is being sold, and if in philosophy we agree with it, in that in if you connect that door, this is a good service. Like, I mean, I work for Spotify, I work for Oppo phones, all these different ads. And I feel like if the services are good, if product is good and it doesn't feel like you're scamming someone, it's just another advertisement. I think one advertisement out of thousands that are out there. But yes, I would, in today's time, I will not do a fairness cream. I will not do anything that talks about skin whitening, body cleaning, I mean, body type. I wouldn't do those products.
Right. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out and from your busy schedule and talking to us.
Absolutely,
Best
thank
of
you.
luck. Looking forward to what you do next. Thank you so much, Shakun.
Thank you so much, Vishal. It was wonderful. Thank you so much.